Alright, break's over. Okay, there's a couple things that I forgot to mention. Um, and you know what? I just forgot what I forgot to mention. What is it that I forgot to mention? Um, well, I forgot to mention what I forgot to mention. So I guess I'll just continue until I think of it. First thing you gotta do, like I mentioned before, you gotta lower frame by one. Now here you'll see what I'm talking about a loop animation. Alright, last frame is equal to first frame. You can see why. I mean, it walks, and then obviously at the end you want it to smoothly transition to the first frame. So the best way to do that is using set key. You know, you have the last frame equal the first frame. Then you got a smooth transition. And that little pause at the end won't be in the game. I honestly don't know how it knows to remove that, but it just does. That little pause, because the first frame and the last frame are equal. It doesn't happen in the game. It forgets that last frame, or it forgets the first frame. Who knows? All right, so here's the fun part: hands. Gosh, I hate animating hands. You know, that's why I just kind of like for closed hands on weapons and stuff, I just make it once, and then I save it, and then I just load that animation into every other animation I make for combat. It's really important to do that for hands. Normally, in most animations, the hands are going to be in the same position the whole time. So you save different versions of your hands. So this is going to be like a robot hand, because I want this to be like a robot walk. So that said, I'm going to select all the finger bones here. Oh, and also, before you select a bone, an unselected bone, if you hover over it, a little tooltip will pop up, tell you what it is. So if you're trying to select like multiple bones, like I got this bone selected, I want to select the rest of the fingers, right? I'm holding control. Before you hold control to select the next bone, hover over it to make sure you got the right one. Alright, control, there it is. Hover over it, finger, control, control. Now, of course, you can just go into the objects menu and select it that way, but to me, that's a little less convenient sometimes. Sometimes it's just better to do it right here. I want it to be straight, obviously. Doesn't have to be perfect, just good enough. Good enough to see some robot action. It's all twisted around. That's good enough. Now remember, as I explained in the last part, if you edit bones without setting key, then it adjusts that position for all frames in the animation, which is exactly what I want to do. I want their hands to be in robot form through the whole thing. Bring it together here. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I mean, well, I guess not necessarily in this case, but I'm only a semi-perfectionist right now. When I do my animations, I like things to be pretty perfect. I'm pretty picky. If there's even one frame where things clip into each other, it's got to be fixed. Even if I can't see it in game, I know it's there, and it'll bug the shit out of me. I am such an anti-clippist. I don't even know if that's a word. Well, it is now. I'm an anti-clippist. And I'm such an anti-clippist that I cannot ride horses. I know this sounds weird, but I cannot ride horses because of the weapons, the sheathed weapons clipping. I never ride horses, ever. Unless I'm a mage and I don't use any weapons. It's the only time. As weird as that sounds, that's how anti-clippist I am. Alright, what do you think? Look pretty robot-y? It looks good. There's our robot hand. Oh, this is going to be great. If this bores the hell out of you, then I guess just skip ahead. I don't know. You get the idea of what I'm doing. I'm just going to do it and ramble while I do it. So if you don't want to hear me ramble, please skip ahead. If you sit here and listen to me ramble and then you complain in the comments that I rambled, I mean, where's the sense in that? You know, it's your choice to listen to it. I still haven't remembered what I forgot to remember, if that makes any sense. Trying to think of it now. What was it? I was outside smoking and I thought of something that I forgot. I do know one thing that I want to show you guys, and that is how to blend like a position into an animation. In other words, when you draw your weapon, you'll notice, like in the vanilla animation, you'll notice when you equip your weapon or sheath it, the equip animation, after the weapon's equipped, the character automatically, reverts right into the vanilla idle stance. And then on the sheath animation, it starts with the idle stance. It's actually part of the animation. Just momentarily, you're in the idle stance, and then he sheaths his weapon, and then he goes to standing. And then it's the opposite for the equip animation. He's standing, and he equips his weapon, and then he immediately goes into the vanilla idle stance. Now, obviously, if you make a new idle stance, if you want all your animations to blend good with that idle stance, you're going to pretty much have to redo every combat animation for that idle stance. I guess some animators are not really that picky about it. I'm pretty damn picky about it. I don't like to see them jitters where the animation attempts to go back to that vanilla idle stance just momentarily. So I pretty much redo. There we go, there's a robot hand. Not quite. Almost. Bring this finger in closer. But anyway, I'll show you how to do that. It's real easy. All you do is, once you that's not too much. Once you get your idle stance done, then you save it. And what I always do, anytime I have an animation like that where I'm going to want other animations to kind of blend with it, I always save a version of it that's fully keyed, and then I save another version of it that only has one key, the very first key. And I'll show you, and I'll better show you that after I do this robot animation. Alright, so we got our hands. Boom. I'm going to go ahead and save it at this point. Oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and select these hands. 17. I didn't get all of them. 18 bones in the hand. 18. $36. Alright. Key. Delete all the other keys. Just in case that animation has them moving around. I want it to stay in robot position. Boom. Yes. Okay. Another thing we're going to have to do. Let's see here. What are we going to have to delete? The arms, spine, also. So, let's select the spine too. Spine. Oh, wait. You know what? Unselect the hand. Spine. And the arms. Clavicle, I don't need that. Let's go with upper arm, forearm. Actually, yeah, clavicle. And the left one. Where is it? I passed it. Where'd it go? There we go. The left arm, forearm, hand. 11. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I got everything. Alright, 11 objects. 4 in each arm and 3 for the spine. Dope sheet. Dope sheet is your friend. You will be in and out of the dope sheet a lot. Delete all keys except for the first one. Alright, now, spine and arms should be stiff. It almost looks like a robot walk already. But that's not good enough. I'm talking about a Domo Arigato freaking robot walk. Alright, so let's see here. This is going to be great. Alright. So let's see. Where's the left foot on the ground? Right there. Let's see right there. Okay. Now for this one, now we're going to go into set key mode. Set key mode. Let's find our spine. Spine 0. You know what? I don't even need the other spines. I want it to be as robotic as possible, so I'm only going to edit the spine. Whoops. Alright, let's go. Key. Alright, now let's move the arms around. Key. Key. Oh man, I'm just laughing just thinking about the NPCs walking around like this. It's gonna be funny stuff. Key. Key. Alright. Oh yeah, always make sure the first key is equal to the last key. Okay, now let's get the spine again. The spine. Right there. And then where is the right foot down? Right there. Key. You know what? This needs to be up too. On that last key and first key. 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 Copy those keys to the front. Remember, first key is always equal to the last key. Let's see what we got here so far. Oh, that's great. Alright. Let's see, where was that spine key at that we just put for the right foot? 24. Alright. 24 is the frame we're looking at. That looks good right there. You know what? I've got an idea too. We're going to do a little robot swing with that arm. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. Remember, always key before you move on to the next bone. You'll get used to it. Key. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and get the spine and upper arm and forearm. Try to follow why I'm doing this. I'm going to do a little swing thing with the forearm. So I want that key. I want the body to stay there. I'll show you what I mean. Yeah. All right. That might be too much. Yeah, that's way too much. Hold on a second. That is too fast, too fast. So let's go spine, upper arm, forearm. Alright, let's see here. Let's move this back here. No, it doesn't. That's not going to work. Alright. Let's go back to the original plan here. There's not enough to work with to make it do that. Alright, so the left arm is a little off here. Oh wait, I forgot, I selected the wrong one. Select the pauldron. Pauldron's right next to the upper arm, so be careful not to select that when you're trying to get the upper arm. Okay, I just did like a robot walk myself, just to see what it should look like. And I think the spine should actually be, let me go ahead and delete this one. Alright, so it's going to dip down for the first one, but for this one it's going to, yeah, it's going to go up. That's better. Okay, that's there. Go ahead and delete that. Hit the forearm here. Now let's see how it works. It doesn't look quite robotic enough, though. You know what? So, what I'll do... oh, wait. Whoops. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to select... what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this look more robotic by doubling up the keys, by extending the amount of time that they're in each position. Upper arm, forearm, hand. Upper arm, forearm, hand. I'll select all these. Why? What is this key here? What is this? That needs to go. Oh, I see. That's the spine. All right. You know what? That's good enough. That's good enough. For the purposes of the tutorial, it is good enough. I don't want to waste too much time doing this. I still got some real animations to make. Alright. So, after you get your animation done to the point where you want it, alright, select the whole skeleton. And what I do is I key it manually. What you can do, if you want, is go to animation, save animation after you select all the bones. Alright, you click segment. Actually, I don't even think you need to do that. You just save it just like this without segment, and it's going to save all frames of all bones, I'm pretty sure. Because I've done it like that before, and it seems to work that way. But if you want to just to make sure, go segment, get the frames, 34 frames, right? So you go 0 to 34. Save the animation. Oh yeah, key per frame. That's the secret. Yeah, okay, so that's why you want to hit segment. That's right. If you're doing it to key it. Hit segment, put the frames in, key per frame, and it's going to key all the bones throughout the animation. I personally do it manually unless it's a really long animation, like in the hundreds of frames. But like in a case like this, I just do it manually. Period and comma is forward and back. I use those keys all the time. K is key. So, select all bones, K, key. You see it light up like that, right? That means it's keyed. Next frame, period. K, key, period, K, period, K. Boom. Keyed. That's why I do it manually, because honestly, the way I just did it with an animation like short like this, it's quicker that way than going and saving and then loading the animation. It's not worth it. Just key it manually. And then if you want to make sure you got all frames, if you do it that way, you do a quick like that, you know, there's always a chance you could skip a frame on accident or something. Then you just hold down period to move the animation forward, and you'll notice, because the light up there, you know, the bones are kind of lit up, surrounded by those brackets when they're keyed. You'll see them blink on and off if you missed a frame here and there if you do that. Alright, so you got your animation set. Go to Habit Content Tools, Export. What you want, if you use the max file from Full Resources for Modders from XPMS, I'm not sure what it has here ready. Normally this is empty, this window right here. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go to Animation. You want to drag, create skeletons, and they do need to be in this order. create skeletons, create animations, spline compression, prune types, write to platform. It needs to be in this order. Create skeletons, create animations, spline compression, those three are in here. Spline compression, where is it? Down here. Are in the animation tab over here. Available filters. Alright, and then for prune types and write to platform, click on core. Prune types, write to platform. Alright, in the settings, create skeleton. You need a rigging file. The full resources for modders also comes with a rigging file. Here's the thing about Habit Content Tools. It's very picky about where you have the files. Particularly, you want the files to be a very short file path. So very close to 3ds Max scenes. My rigging file is in 3ds Max scenes, and this is in your user my documents 3ds Max scenes. My rigging file is in 3ds Max scenes rigging, and boom, there it is. XP32 maximum skeleton rig v2. Alright, so if you're using XPMS, that's what you want. You get the full resources from modders, everything's there for you. As long as you follow this tutorial, you should be good to go. So you select that. Oh yeah, check this, make sure this is checked from file. Click use file order, select the rigging file, and then you're good. That's what you do for create skeletons. Create animations, you don't do anything for it. Just leave it the way it is. Spline compression, put the quality all the way down. Or, I'm sorry, all the way high, to the left. Prune types, alright, you want all scene data. You want to uncheck all animation data, and you want to check skeletons, bone attachments, identify binding indices, mesh bindings, ragdoll and mappers, and environmental data, and then all resource data. So take a look at this for a second. Those are the boxes you want checked for prune types. Right to platform. Here's another thing about Habit Content Tools being picky. My files will not export if it's a long path name. So see this? How it's really short up here. File name. It's just a backslash, boom. It's because that is set to be inside 3ds Max scenes. This is the shortest path. So this is where I save it. If I save it anywhere else, say I go to desktop. Save. See how it's got all these periods? It's a really long file path. I go to run configuration, and it won't export. Could not create file. And I can do this all day. I can pick folders from anywhere. It doesn't matter. If it's not that specific folder for me, it will not work. It has to be user, my documents, 3ds Max, scenes, and then you name the animation. So this is the empty-handed walk. MT walk forward. Now watch. Now it'll export. But there's errors. All these errors up here. Invalid skew scale, invalid skew scale. This is where reset stretch and reset scale come in. So select the whole skeleton, animation, bone tools. Oh, you know what? Before you do this, I always save it before I do it. Because reset stretch and reset scale can fuck things up if you don't do it right. Or if you accidentally click it more than once, or whatever the case. I've seen it jack animations up. So you want to save it first. Let's go robot walk. Boom, saved. Right now, if it screws up, just load it. No big deal. Oh, my 3ds Max is freezing. I remember now. I remember now what I forgot to remember. Alright. This is what I was going to say. Some of you are probably wondering why I do 3ds Max in windowed mode. The reason for that is, say I want to test out an animation, and I go into Skyrim. I like to play Skyrim in full screen. And even when I'm just testing animations, I like to see it in full screen. I don't have the best setup for windowed mode. My windowed mode looks like crap. And I like to keep my settings the way they are. I play in full screen, period. So, when I go into full screen Skyrim and I come out, I go back into 3ds Max. A lot of times my 3ds Max is pretty much frozen up, crashed, whatever. So I do it in windowed mode. It seems to do that much less. It does do that much less. I shouldn't say it seems to. It absolutely does do that much less. Like, it's very rare that it does that. Before, when I was doing 3ds Max in full screen, it crashed or froze up every time. Every single time I went into Skyrim and came back. And a lot of times I didn't even have to go into Skyrim. I could just go into like Windows Explorer or Internet Explorer and do some things for a while, come back to 3ds Max, and it's frozen up. So I do it in windowed mode, and that barely ever happens. If I ever go into Skyrim to test out an animation, or if I'm doing whatever, and I'm going to be coming back to 3ds Max, what I do is I save my project, and then I click New to clear it. As a matter of fact, it just saved it, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Clear it, so it's only the grid. And then I go do whatever I want to do, come back to 3ds Max, and 99 times out of 100, it's not frozen up, it's perfect. Load your file again. Let's find it, robot walk. So that's what I was going to say. That's what I forgot to remember. Forgot to remember to forget to remember. Alright, select all bones. Bone tools. Reset stretch. Reset scale. Nice and slowly. Don't rush through it and click all crazy like and stuff, because if you hit it multiple times you can jack this animation all up. But sometimes you have to hit it multiple times. So, alright. And keep in mind also, your habit content tools, the settings, save to that particular animation. So, that said, you want to set everything up. Set the file name up and all that jazz before you reset stretch, reset scale. And then save your project. Right? Hit close, not cancel. Hit close, save your project. And then anytime you load this project, all these settings are automatically going to be there. File name and everything. File name is saved to that animation file. So if you ever need to tweak this animation and then export it again, all you got to do is go into 3ds Max, tweak it, go into Habit Content Tools, run configuration, boom. Sometimes it won't export right off the bat. Here's my scenes folder. I have a shortcut to it. This is where I export my animations. See that one that I exported earlier? It did export. Sometimes it doesn't though. If I keep my scenes folder open when I'm exporting, and if you don't see the file that you're wanting to export appear, then all you got to do is go to Right Platform, go to the file thing, just click Save again, and it kind of re-registers it, and then hit Run Configuration, and it should export. And they do, when you export, it does overwrite any file with the same name. So I could export it right now, and it'll export to this file. It'll overwrite it. Okay, so let's run configuration. We did reset stretch, reset scale. Beautiful. No errors. Well, I get these 2 errors. If anyone knows what these means, or if they affect anything, or if there's anything I can do to get rid of them, because I would love to have a clean export with no orange letters. That would be beautiful. I have no idea what to do about this. Skeleton NPC root has multiple roots. Extra root found in bone, camera third. I don't know what to do about that. Doesn't seem to affect anything, but if anyone knows how to get rid of those errors, please let me know. Alright, so we got our robot walk. Now I'm going to show you how to rotate animations. Because we don't just want walk forward. We want walk forward left, walk forward right, walk left, walk right, walk backward left, backward right. So that said, you go to NPC Com. You don't need to turn the bone off for this, for rotation. Well, not for rotation on the Z-axis anyway. Go to rotation, go to the little window there, offset world, go to Z, 45 degrees, right? Okay, now with some animations, like combat animations and such, you want the head to face forward even though you're moving to the forward left. You still want to keep your eye on the combat, right? So in that case, you would go to the head bone, rotation, window, go to that same setting, but go minus 45, right? And it'll turn the head where you need it to be. But for this one, we don't want that. This is just walking, ain't a combat animation or nothing. We want people to look where they're walking. Well, look where they're robot walking, whatever. Alright, so now we got our walk forward. This bone down here, this anim object A, anim object B, whatever, that little stand for your character, where it's left and right, that's perpendicular to where the camera's going to be. So right where my camera is right now in the animation file, that's where the camera's going to be in game, you know, in relation to the direction the character's facing. So I hope you understand what I mean by that. So the fact that my character is turned to the left, forward left, that means that, you know, this is going to be a forward left walking animation. I hope that makes sense. Alright, so now go to export. Just adjust the export name. Walk forward left. Boom. Keep your scenes folder open. I got both of those. Alright, now, undo. Straighten it out. Let's go minus 45. I'm just going to do forward left and forward right, but you get the idea. You do the same thing for walk backward. Anytime you make a walk backward animation, all you got to do to make the walk backward right, walk backward left, is rotate the NPC com bone, and then export it with the backward left, backward right name, or rotate the head. Unless for some reason you want a very unique animation for each direction, like I have my strafe animations for going left and right, but the main reason for that is if you're using a shield. You know, as I was saying in a previous part, or earlier in this video, the shield animation only reads the arms from the shield blocking animation. So if the body turns completely to the left and right when you're running sideways, and you have the block runner perk, which means you block at full speed, then when you run left and right, the shield's going to go left and right. It's not going to be in front of you. That's why I make the strafing animations. And that's why in the vanilla game, if you run left, the shield's all, you know, definitely not in front of you, definitely not ready to block anything if you have the block runner perk and you're running left. But if you run right, it's a little bit in front of you, but that's because the vanilla animation has the body tilted to the side for their idle, if that makes any sense. So anyway, run forward right, or walk forward right. Alright, so we got those. I'm going to show you one more quick thing real quick. You get the idea for animations. All the steps that I put in this tutorial vid should be fine. If you are still having problems, please try to figure them out for yourself. Watch the tutorial vid again, the relevant sections of it. If you're still having problems and you just cannot figure it out for yourself, don't hesitate to whisper me. But I want video proof that you tried to figure it out for yourself. I'm talking 100 hours minimum. No, I'm just kidding. No, but just message me if you're having a hard time. Alright, so let's take our exported animations. They're already ready. They're ready to go in game. Put it in animations. Oh wait, actually, these animations, the MT walking animations, are specific to gender. So let me go ahead and copy them. And I'm gonna... Oh my gosh. Come on. How do I make it move faster? Oh my gosh. I hate this. If anyone knows how to do this faster, please let me know. You know, when you're trying to drag something up a file folder or whatever. Come on. Almost there. Almost there. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, this is going to go in the mail folder. Watch me accidentally let go of it and start over. That ain't going to happen. Mail. Put these three in the female. Alrighty. So before I go in game and show you the robot animation, which I'm sure probably isn't going to look exactly how I planned on it. I could have taken more time and made it look perfect and everything. If I was to release like a robot walk mod, I would definitely, you know, I would probably look up some videos and pictures of people walking like robots and get it down just right, you know, before I released it or whatever. This is just for the purposes of the tutorial, so please don't even waste your time posting comments saying like, oh, that's not how people do robot walk. Oh, I'm a dancer. Who cares, man? It's just a damn tutorial. I'm just showing you how to do this stuff. Alright, that said, no, I don't want to save it. I'm going to show you one more thing before I end this tutorial, and that is how to blend a drawing animation, or really any animation. This goes for any animation. We'll go to YHM Dual Wheel Draw. Alright, I'm sure some of you know this animation, right? Now this was before I knew how to put the weapons in the animation, so that's why there's no weapons in there. But anyway, let's say, because this is the old idle of immersive animations, or actually it was animation tweaks and fixes is what I called it originally, right? That's that idle. So let's say I want to adjust this to go into my new idle for my mod Damacaris that I'm coming out with. So what I would do is I would kind of get to the point where it looks like he's probably got the weapons in his hands. You know, he grabs it right there, boom, pulls the weapons out, right around there. All right, so frame 30. Select all bones. Dope sheet. Alright, this is already on 30. So keep that in mind. This yellow line is telling you what frame you're on. It kind of gives you a guideline too. Like if you're trying to delete everything after frame 30, put this line on frame 30 and then you got something to guide you through it. And all these keys, these are just keys from animations that I loaded into this one that were much longer than this animation. And as I said before, you don't really need to delete them. You can if you want, but you don't need to. Alright, so I'm going to delete all these keys past frame 30. My thing is lagging real bad. What the hell's going on here? All keys past frame 30. Delete. Oh no, it's doing this number. I don't know why it does this. If anyone knows how to get around this, please let me know. Sometimes it does this. I go to delete keys and won't let me. I might just have to do it manually. Pain in the butt. Yeah, you click yes and it still doesn't delete the keys in that case. And you click no, well obviously it doesn't do anything. I don't know why that happens. Some animations it just does that. Thing's all buggy right now. What's going on? Oh, come on, delete. Oh, whatever. I'm going to overwrite that key anyway. That last one. Okay, so I'm going to move this key, this first key. Try to follow what I'm doing here. What I want to do is I want to load one key of my position of my idle. And I'm going to put that key at the end of the animation, right? So that way, after he draws, the body goes right into the idle at the end, the new idle. That said, when I load that animation, it's going to load that key into the beginning of this animation by default. So I need to move this first key out of the way, just anywhere. So that way it doesn't overwrite that key. Another thing that's going to happen is it's going to overwrite the next key in the line also. So I also need to move that key out. So here's my first two keys, right? Now, since it's going to automatically overwrite the next key, it's going to overwrite this one now. So I need to put, oh, you know what? This animation is kind of jacked up. Ignore the structure here. I'm going to put a key here, just a bunk key, just so to give it something to overwrite. Alright, so I'm going to go load animation. I've already got a one key idle animation saved. Here it is, idle one key. Alright, right, it's saved. Well, it looks like it didn't really overwrite that next one. Whatever. Okay, now we don't want it at the beginning, we want it at the end. So bring it down to the end. And then this first one, I'm going to go back to the beginning. Second one. Now let's see if it's right. I need to get rid of that one. There we go. Alright, so now we start standing. Oh, need to get rid of that one too. Sorry. Okay, start from standing. Oh, grab the weapons. And right into the new Damacaris idle. Perfect, right? One thing to keep in mind with equipping animations, it does read the spine movement when you're moving. Because obviously when you're moving, you know, it's not going to read the animation, the legs from the animation, because, you know, the legs are going to be read from the movement animation. But it will read the spine. That said, default vanilla has the spine turned to the right. You know, because your body's tilted to the right. So in my Damacaris animations, as you can see in the idle, it's straightforward, it's squared off. If I was to make this animation squared off on the spine the whole way, then while moving and equipping, it would make the spine actually go to the left and look really awkward. So during the equipping animation, you need to have the spine just default, just leave it alone. Otherwise, it's going to look awkward while you're moving through the behavior files. Boom, that's how you do that. That applies also, you can do the same thing with unequip animations, but in that case, you obviously want the idle to be in the beginning. And so you pretty much just use that strategy. You can apply that to all equip and unequip animations. You'll figure it out. Alright, so I guess that's it. I can't really think of anything else. I guess if I think of anything else, I'll put it in a video. One thing to note about attacking animations, animations that actually have attacks, you know, like sword swings, etc. Let's say you do 1 HM attack forward sprint, one-handed melee forward sprinting attack, right? The critical charge. Or no, I'm sorry, that's the regular one. This is the critical charge, attack power forward sprint. Anyway, let's say you want to do, as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you, just give you a little taste of my upcoming mod here. Dimakaris. Where is it? Sprint Power Attack. Oh, I call this one Sprint Power Attack New Arm, because my arm was all deformed in my first one, so I made a new one with a fixed arm. So this is my Sprinting Power Attack in my Dimakaris mod. Okay, now what I was going to tell you is that, you know, this is a heavily modified version of the default Sprinting Power Attack of vanilla. So it looks completely different. I mean, it almost looks like I made it from scratch, but it's a heavily modified version of the default. There's no reason to make an animation from scratch. You've got a baseline for pretty much any animation out there. Just think of whatever animation you're trying to make. Think of whatever animation that's in vanilla Skyrim that's closest to it, and then just modify that animation. It's the, you know, quickest pass between 2 points is a straight line, right? So you want to get as close to a straight line as possible. There's no point in starting from scratch. All it is a matter of, if you're drastically changing certain bones positions, then just delete all the keys of that bone, those bones. And then, you know, but I'm sure some of the bones in said animation will pretty much be around the area you want them, so there's no reason to start from scratch. Now, in this animation, I had him jump much higher, and had him kind of lift his legs up more. Much different from the vanilla. As you can see, I'm sure all of you are familiar with the vanilla animation. Plays much faster than that in game, obviously. I think it's about that speed in game. Alright, so what I was going to say is, when you get the original animation imported, before you start making adjustments, you want to mark certain points of the animation, like, for instance, when the weapon swing makes contact. Like right there. I mean, that's obviously not what the vanilla animation looked like, but there was a point in the vanilla animation when you can pretty much tell that that's where the weapon's going to make contact, when the weapon's out in front of him, right? Because that's about where the swing sound's going to be. Now, that is not handled by the animation. The swing sounds for combat, that's handled by something else. So you want to note what frame that swing sound is going to be on, where that contact is. And when you modify the animation, make sure you keep that contact point like 21. That's my contact point. In the vanilla animation for the sprinting power attack for one-handed, contact point is 21. It needs to be the same, so that way the swinging sound, sorry, you know, right in the right time. So when you do the animation, you know, let's say I put this contact point, you know, much farther in the animation, like around here, then I'd get the swinging sound probably when he's around here. It'd be like, you know, it'd be much too soon. So you gotta note where the swinging is. And that's another thing that I forgot. I believe this is it. I believe this will conclude the video. Annotations. Alright, you want to highlight NPC root, which is down there on that little character stand. So just select all bones down there. Okay. NPC root. Press the plus. You can do this on your file that you're making ready, your ready file. You can do this on your ready file. This way, in all animations, you got a transform line. But normally, this little block here will not be here. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. Let me expand this. This block will not be here. See where I get these annotations? Foot sprint left, foot sprint left, that's where he lands. Now on these sprinting attacks, most of the sprint foot sounds are built into them. But the normal sprint animations, just the sprinting, they're not. You actually have to put foot sprint left, foot sprint right. The reason I have 2 foot sprint lefts is because this is where he jumps and this is where he lands, and both of them are with the left foot. There's different annotations. For weapon equip, you want to put begin weapon draw in the beginning of the animation, and then at the point where he actually grabs the weapon is weapon draw. For sheathing, at the beginning is begin weapon sheath. Now that's sheath with an E at the end. S-H-E-A-T-H-E, the action of sheathing. The item sheath would not have an E, but the action has an E. Kind of like breath and breathe. So, as a matter of fact, maybe it's pronounced sheath. I don't know. But anyway, so begin weapon sheath, weapon sheath. However, we note something. There is a problem if you're doing like equip animations, sheathing animations for like weapons on back, like one-handed weapons on back. There's an issue where it kind of like, it gets all weird. The weapon gets all weird in game. The reason it does that is because it's following the begin weapon sheath function, which pretty much is the whole package of the animation, the sound effect, and everything rolled into one. So if you have begin weapon sheath, then it's going to play the sheathing sound effect. And also, with swords and daggers, just with swords, it's going to do this thing where it tries to line up with the sheath while you're sheathing it, so it looks all weird in-game. So to get around that, like if you're sheathing on back, you don't want that, obviously, because the sheath is in a much different position, so it'll look all weird. So you want to remove begin weapon sheath and just put the sound effect in manually. Put sound play, period. I'll go ahead and show you. The sound play, period, and then I believe it's like weapon, blade, one hand, sheath, SD. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But you can go into the CK, go into the weapons, go into any sword, and you can see go into art and sound, and you can see what sound it plays upon sheathing and different things it does. You can play any sound that Skyrim has by doing this. Sound play, and you just get the name of the sound, and sound play, period, bomb. And it'll play that sound on the frame that you have it on. So in this case, it's going to play sound play, weapon blade, one hand sheath SD on frame, what is that? 15. Looks like 15. Yeah. So that's annotations. Different annotations do different things. There's foot left, foot right. That's regular footsteps. But for normal running animations and walking animations, you don't have to put those. From my experience, they have footprints built into them. The sprinting, though, you do. You do have to put foot sprint left, foot sprint right. Let's see here. So you get the equip, begin weapon draw, and weapon draw. Any annotations you want to... If you're not sure what annotations should be in an animation, what you do is you get this file called Convert UI. Just go to Google search for Convert UI. Convert UI right here. Okay, and let's get a default vanilla animation. Let's go with 1HM equip. Put it in the in folder. Copy. I've got some other stuff in there too, don't worry about that. Convert UI, run. HKX to XML. See, this is stuff too. You can do, all the conversion stuff with this file too. Just figure out how to use it. It's not hard. I know how to use it. I could show you, but it's so easy and self-explanatory. There's no point. HKX to XML. Convert. Alright, so it converted everything that is HKX in the in folder to XML version into the out folder. It's still HKX, but it's readable now. Get Notepad++. Download that. Google search it. Download Notepad++. And then when you right-click on the HKX file, edit with Notepad++. And this little whole bunch of bullcrap will come up that you have no idea what it means. Don't worry, I don't know what most of it means either. But you do have the different bones. Now, it doesn't say the bone name, it just says track name in the default animations. But these do represent different bones. But the one with the annotations, that is your NPC root. So this up here is your NPC root, the first bone. Annotations, 4 annotations. Begin weapon draw. Foot scuff right, weapon draw, foot scuff left. So there you go. Those are annotations. You can see what annotations are in each animation. So if you're trying to get a certain function to work and it's not working in your animation, you probably got it annotated wrong or not annotated at all. So you need to go and look at the default version of the animation in XML and see what the annotations are. So that's pretty much it. You got annotations, you got animations, you got every other Asians I can think of. I don't know. I guess if there's anything I missed, then leave it in the comment section and I'll try to touch base on it if I'm familiar with it. Alright, well I'm going to close this out with a little video of the walking animation, the robot walk. And I'll show you my new, my sprinting, well, my new Dymacaris animations in general. Forgive the video quality. I know my computer renders crappy videos. What can I say? At least you can still see the animations, you can see the point, you get the message. So I assure you, I do not play with a crappy Skyrim. My Skyrim looks fine, but when I render it into a vid, it looks like crap. Alright, well that's it. See you.